Why do I have trouble with my past? Why do I hold on to my past? This is a big, big, big challenge for most people. So let's get to it. I think they will separate life into three sections: what was in the past, what we call the present moment, and what many folks refer to as the future, going into the future. Kind of three pieces. The first thing I wanted just to address is that the mental concept of time, is really kind of an illusion. As human animals, we have created the clock, we have created calendars, various types of calendars, of course. You have the Chinese lunar calendar, you have the old time Jewish calendar, you have the what people would call the modern calendar based on Anadonum, which is the birthday of the Christ, and so on and so on and so on. So we tend to separate time in three different sections, as I just shared, right? We have the past, we have the present, we have the future, we have yesterday, we have last week, next month, next year, the last decade, the next century coming upon us. All of this is a psychological, mental structure of what we refer to as time. Now, if you spoke to a horse, or if a horse could talk, or a duck could speak, and you ask the animal, what time is it? They would probably move their bill and head and just say, what do you mean? What time is it? It's now. It's now. I mean, what are you talking about? Right? But they don't process things the way we do. Not the same way, that's for sure. So when we refer to time, especially the past has one major spiritual, psychological aspect. And that means that it includes memory and the reactions to the memory of the past. I meet a lot of people in my work. I mean, a lot. I probably see sometimes upwards of 500 to 1,000 people in a given month. Of course, I don't speak to every single one of them. I meet them at audiences and venues and so on. But most people that I meet, are looking for explanations, contact, communications, references to a time gone by. And one of the reasons why they look for a time gone by is because it's something they have directly experienced. They have taken the wound to the heart, or they have taken the joy into the heart, whatever that may be. Look, folks, for the average person, myself included, of course, most of us go through our days uneventful. We go to work, we stop at lunch, we have a traffic light, I forgot my money, I can't start my car, we have bills to pay. The normal routine of one day flowing into the next, one experience flowing into the next. We all have them all the time since the day we first took our first breath of air. We began to accumulate memory. But in addition to accumulating the memory, we also developed an approach, an attitude, a conditioned way of thinking about the memories of the past. Most memories, as I just shared with you guys, are not based in anything significant. They're not based in anything that is powerful. They are just the average rotation. You may mention to somebody, oh, I remember playing Little League. Oh, I remember playing softball. Oh, I remember graduating from high school. Or I remember when I met my first boyfriend or girlfriend. Yeah, there are certain little spikes in memory that cause us to reflect. And of course, these memories are often captured in DVDs. They're captured today on all kinds of digital software. They're captured in photographs held in your phone or in a photo album on the shelf or pictures in your hall. And when you look at the pictures or you look through a photograph or you hear a song, it jumpstarts, it activates Memory. Now, if you hear memory of your wedding song and you and your bride are still together, you and your spouse are still together, and you play your wedding song, it can elevate a sense of well being, it can elevate a sense of happiness. However, not many people I know walk around day after day thinking about their wedding song or the day they got married. It may resurrect on an anniversary date. It may come out when you go to a wedding for somebody else and you hold each other's hand when you're dancing. And you might say, hey, you remember our wedding? It was this, it was that, right? This is normal stuff. Or if you go to, or you follow a sporting team, for example, let's say coming here from the New York area, I'm a big hockey fan, right? I love hockey. And I'm an Islander fan. Sorry to my Ranger fans, but I'm an Islander fan, right? And I remember vividly, when the Islanders were struggling. They called them the hapless Islanders when they first came into the Nassau County Coliseum. And years later, they wound up winning 4 Stanley Cups, which is the championship cup, if you guys don't know what that is, for 4 straight years. So I have the unpleasant memories of when they started, and I have the really exciting memories of when they won 4 cups in a row. But when I step back a little bit from that, I just remove myself for a moment. Those are all memory. None of them exist today. None of them. Now, this brings us to the main thrust of tonight's talk. I just wanted to make sure we were defining a past, we'll get into the present in a moment, and the future. But for this conversation, this specific chat is about why people struggle with the past. The events of the past are unchangeable. Nobody wants to hear that comment, but it's true. What has been written has been written. The sands of time have blown them into the eternal. Any event, any aspect, great or heart-crushing, have dissolved into the past, except for one primary function, which is the function of memory. Because as human beings, we have been given and blessed with this amazing gift of memory that we can pretty much activate whenever we truly want to. Now, again, I'm not talking about incidental events that we can't remember. I'm talking about the wedding, for example, the birth of your first child, the birth of your second child, the day your daughter gets married. We tend to focus in on these highlighted, very, very happy, very, very joyous events. And we hold on to them in a very, very held way, almost like we put them in a keepsake box of the heart. And we go to them to help us offset sorrow. We do. The other memorable dates, which are not pleasant, of course, is when we found out that our husband developed cancer, or the date that our son or our child or our brother or our sister was severely injured in a car accident. They are kind of etched into our emotional headstones, as it were. And the big one, of course, is the memory of death. The shifting from the physical form into the eternal soul. This incredible experience, and I hate to call the word grief incredible, but it is an incredible experience to witness birth. It is an incredible experience to witness life beginning to blossom through a human form. And it is also an incredible yet deeply heartbreaking, deeply crushing experience to watch the biological form move along and come to its end of time. There are people I know, including myself, that have walked into a room and found a deceased person. I will never forget seeing my dad like that. I will never forget. I had the privilege and the opportunity with being with my mom before she died. My brother's child, I was near my brother when he died. We weren't permitted to get into a hospital environment. And my brother's son passed away out of state No one was around at that time with him. So we all have different variations on the grief. If we were to sit and talk like this, and you ask me, do I remember them? Absolutely. Can I give you a date? Can I give you the event? Can I tell you who was there? 100%. It is burned into my very soul. Do I miss them physically? Without a doubt. I wish I could hug my dad one more time. I wish I could squeeze my mother's hand, give my mother a head kiss on the forehead one more time. No question about it. I would never like to even hint that I don't have human responses to grief. I certainly do. But there's a difference. I understand inside, not just in my head, but I do understand deep down in my belly, in my soul, and many of you do. I'm not talking about some magic powers here. Many of you understand deeply what it's like to relive, think about, draw on the memory of those we love, right? But for some of us, those memories are so painful, so destructive, so life-altering. They drive us into a sorrow, a place that seems to be like an endless pit. The abyss seems to be living underneath our bed. And no matter what we seem to do, no matter how we seem to do it, we can't seem to shake the memory of what happened and the grief that comes with it. And with all respect to everybody tonight, it is most prevalent with people I have met. It was also very prevalent with my own mom, and I am referring to the death of a child or children. My mom lost two biologically living children, one as a very, very, very young child, and my brother coming and passing at the age of around 59, where my mother was still very much alert and aware and active in her life, and her middle son passed away. And of course, it was heartbreaking. It was devastating, not only when my baby sister died some 70 years ago, a very long time ago, and my brother died only 9 years ago. But for my mom, when she was living, I could see it in her eye all the time. There was always this tear at the end of her eye. Despite the smile and her wonderful, beautiful Irish personality, I could always feel around her this emptiness that was there. But what was interesting about my mother was my mother never dwelled on it. She would always say, Bobby, she called me Bobby. She always would say, Bobby, I can't control it. I can't stop what happened. They had to leave. They had to go home. She goes, I can't stop it. And at first I thought that she was kind of just suppressing it or pushing it away. But over the years, I began to realize she was actually teaching me something that I was already working with, actually, with people, but I witnessed it up close with my mother's soul. And she said, Bobby, I can't change it. I also can't change my broken heart. I have to live with it. And I never forgot that. There's a great spiritual teacher. Some of you may have heard of him. Most have not. His name is Jiddu Krishnamurti, an Indian fellow. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I've listened to countless of his videos, his works. I've read many of his writings. And he makes a very simple but very direct quote about things from the past, or things that are occurring now, actually. And he says, whatever you resist will persist. Meaning, when you try to re-alter the truth of what happened, when you try to point fingers, when you try to create blame, when you don't forgive yourself, when you're hard on your own soul, when things should have been different, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, all of these expressions are a form of psychological, and more importantly, they're a form of spiritual resistance to the truth of what has happened. But humans don't want the truth of what has happened. What they want is a variation of the truth. They want to alter it, manufacture it, suppress it, repress it, rationalize it, avoid it, deny it. They want to use drugs, alcohol, rock and roll, gambling, you name it. They go into anger, they go into rage. Of course, it's understandable why they say, why did this happen to my family? Why did God do this to my child? Why did this happen to me? I am angry. My past has broken my present moment. And folks, I get it. I get it. I meet with people all the time who are suffering very hard wounds from the past. Now, if you say to that person, you have to accept it, many people's eyes flare open like this and they want to like choke me. And I'm like, please, I'm not asking you to do anything other than accept. And they say back to me, how can I accept the fact that my son was killed in a car crash? And very gently, I try to say to them, I'm not asking you to in any way alter how you react. I'm not. But you must accept the fact that your beautiful child has left this physical body and is he entered eternal grace. And I don't say that with any kind of candy coating or wounding that I'm trying to get rid of by fluff balls. I don't do that. But they have moved into an eternal grace and an eternal peace. That I can tell all of you 1,000%. There is not one doubt in my being that does not happen. It happens. However, that being said, also can you accept that you can't accept? When you come to a place where you accept, I can't accept this, and you're screaming at God, or you're yelling out the window, or you're punching the desk, whatever you're doing, I can't accept this. I won't. My heart is broken. And as long as you deny or resist the truth of what has happened, the suffering will expand and expand. Now, this part I want you to really listen to, okay, because this is important. The soul bears witness to all of this. It does. And in my readings, if you've ever read me, or if I've ever read you, you will know I talk about what happened to them, what caused their passing, who was around, perhaps information that the family looks at me and says, there's no way this guy would know my son drowned on a fishing expedition in the Bahamas, and he just sat across from my family and told us that. How the hell does this guy know that? And the answer is, I don't know anything. I really don't. The soul that loves you guys is communicating to you. I'm acting as the interpreter for you, so you know that it's your son or your daughter, whatever, or your husband, or whatever your wife, whatever the case might be. You know it for sure. But here's the magic. They will also reference things that are going on right now. They may talk about your other sister graduating from college. They may talk about your daughter having a new baby a week ago. And you look at me, and people look at me and they say, how the heck does this guy know that? And I say, well, your son or your daughter, whomever who has crossed over, is sharing it with me. And they say to me, that's impossible. They were dead 4 years now. They couldn't know any of this. And I politely say to them, their body has been interrupted. That is true. And that truth is heartbreaking. No way around it. No way around it. If for a mother who loses her child, or a spouse that loves her beloved husband or wife, whatever the case may be, it can be crippling. So I'm not here to candy coat anything. It is. However, to ask your soul to continue to go into the past becomes the issue. And I'll tell you why. As I shared at the beginning of this little talk, the past is over. It's finished. Your memory stays around, that's true. But the past actually is finished. It doesn't mean you're forgetting them. It doesn't mean you're letting them go. When people tell me, or I hear people tell other people to let go of it, they feel like punching them in the face. And I don't blame them. You never want to let go of the love and the memory of your beautiful child. Ever. Don't let anyone tell you to forget your child. Oh my God. Or you need closure and you have to move, and you have to move on. That's a bunch of hoo-ha. The difference is their soul is in the present moment. They cannot embrace you. They cannot get to you. They cannot come close to you when you're always back the way it was. Like a Barbra Streisand song, The Way We Were. That brings up melody, and that brings up tears, and that brings up crying and holding up the jackets and crying in bed. Yeah, it does. And that's not always wrong. But the beauty, the light of their soul is here now. Some people will say to me, well, I'll meet them in the future. Folks, if this is a weekday night and a month from now I say we'll meet again, right? I'll say that to you. When we get to that month out, next month from now or 2 months from now, whatever the case might be, it'll be in the present moment when we sit and do this again. We are always in the present moment. We are always in the present moment. And this is where they are. Therefore, when you're weeping over their death, crying over their death, angry over that they left you, whatever it is, it tells their soul that their soul, who has to leave this world, so to speak, and has moved along, who has died, they're wounding you so much, that what they've done to you is so painful that it makes them almost shake. Like this, they vibrate like, I'm sorry that I had leukemia, but I couldn't stay. And I didn't realize how much I'd be hurting you by freeing myself from the bondages of my suffering, my sorrow, my hospital stays, the car crash, the motorcycle that flipped, the heroin that took my life, the gunshot that I put to my head, God forbid. Whatever it was, I am still causing you to suffer. It was never in my intention to make you suffer. I just could not stop the truth that my soul was being called home by a love greater than you can possibly imagine. So my dear friends, if you could just please consider, have the memories of the past, weep and cry if you must, look at photographs, play old music, do what you need to do. But at the same time, when you do that, do it with them. Do it with them in the present moment. Do it with them with love and say, listen, sweetheart, to the song we used to listen to. Mommy's right here. I'm right here, baby. And they will come to you, and they never leave you. They will never separate from you. Don't go looking into the future. Well, one day I'll get it. Please don't do that. The power of love and grace can only be found in the sacred moment, right? In the Christian culture, the man on the cross said, this is called the daily bread, the life of the soul in the present moment, in the present moment. In Buddhism, I'm partially a Buddhist practitioner. Siddhartha Gautama, the man you know as the Buddha, said, the light of the soul is within you, and it is only present now. They are all pointing to the now. The now, the present moment, is not found in the memory of the past. So when you bring the memory of the past competing with the present moment, there's a collision. And when that collision kind of takes place, memory wins. It does. And I understand, and believe me, I understand it. But I'm trying to help you through this a little bit. I'm trying to help you. So when you stay present, you're not rejecting the past. You're not denying the past. You are fully embracing the truth of the soul. To finish this up a little bit, there's a story I also want to share with you, which is from the Buddhist tradition. And it touches on a topic that some of you, I'm sure, have heard of the word karma, karmic reactions. Right? The responses to behavior, the responses to emotions, the responses to fear, and so on and so on and so on, right? So I'm not going to get into a whole big topic on karma, but I think you understand what I mean, right? Okay. So this woman happens to be a woman, approaches Siddhartha Gautama, the man we call the Buddha. And it's in India. Now, the Buddha was around 5 centuries before Jesus even showed up. And this beautiful light was teaching in India, walking around, teaching in different locations. And one day a woman sat with him. She said, listen, I understand you've got great wisdom. Here we are sitting on this rocky area with some grass around it or something. And I need to ask you something because my heart's busted. And I need to ask you something. And he goes, yeah, of course, I'll help you if I can. I'll help you if I can. And so she said, my child has died. and I am crushed. I am heartbroken. And the Buddha, of course, out of respect, was reverent, and he became silent for a little bit. And then the woman said, "Why did this happen to me?" And the Buddha answered, "If it wasn't supposed to happen to you, why did it? If you weren't supposed to have this experience, why are you? And if it was supposed to be any different, it would have been. Therefore, your soul, not your mind, your soul has been exposed to the death of the child to basically crack open your heart and show you that life is always moving, that your child has never left you. The body, of course, and the sorrow with that, yes, that is part of the truth of your life experience. It is true. It is true. It is true. You are hurt and you are wounded. But it's not just to wound you. Life is not setting you up to wound you. Life is setting you up to teach you. Life is always teaching us. Many people I meet talk about spiritual lessons. There is no greater spiritual lesson, none greater than love itself. There is nothing that touches it. You were given this beautiful child. Child's body fell for whatever reasons. It moved along. It moved along. Its journey of the soul illuminated. It came right back to its mother where it stays. But the body had to be buried. And the Buddha said to this beautiful woman, if you want to experience your child, be still with me. Deepen your breathing. Stay present. If you let the past enter like a thief in the night, if you let the future steal away your present moment, your suffering will continue. So as you continue, which is normal, of course, my dear friends, to grieve, to have troubles of the heart, to cry, to weep, do it with them. Do it honoring them. Do it for them as they do it for you. I say to people when I do my private work, as you pray for them, they also pray for you. They pray for you. They pray for you to know they're at peace. They pray for you to know they are with you. They pray for you to know they will never leave you. They pray for you to understand that when your time comes, which no one on earth knows, no one knows when the soul will be called home or how it will be retrieved back into the glory of grace. No one knows that. Not me, not anybody. But they ask you, please, to pray with them. Come to that place. So as they pray for you, they are preparing you for your journey one day. People think you have to physically die to join them. You do not. You do not. You have to die, and please don't get upset, but you have to die to the past. You have to die to the idea of searching the future. If you are sitting with me right now and your heart is breaking, that is the truth of your soul. Let's accept that truth. If you're not really thinking about it, that is the truth of your soul in this very moment. Please do never confuse what your thoughts are telling you and what the radiance of your heart is receiving. Final comments. There's a really cool quote. It says, the distance between your head and your heart is only 18 inches. 18 inches. That's it. And most people will never take that journey in one lifetime. They get frozen in their head of what they wanted the past to be like, what it should have been like, what they demanded it to be like. They want to reject any pain and only absorb and gobble up all of the joy. I think we all understand that's not the way it works, right? So before we say goodnight, I just want to let you guys know that we're having this beautiful interaction because I too understand the wounds of grief. I too understand the frustrations of the past. I too. And whatever shift took place in me to allow me to help people a little bit, which I hope I'm doing tonight, is because I learned to accept against all my wishes. I didn't want to accept any of this. But my father, my boss, said, you must accept. Father, it is thy will. Father, it is thy will. Let this be done. And if you really trust the soul of your loved ones, if you really believe in them, trust them, sense them, accept their journey. Do it with tears if you must, but accept it, for they are accepting your journey too. And one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 years, you will let go of your form and you will be reunited with them forever. Until then, honor them by living well. Take care of the ones that surround you. Live in love. There is nothing more powerful than the power of love itself. It will heal all of your wounds. Stay with those close to you. If you must, if you really are struggling, seek professional help. Hang out with people in groups that understand your sorrow and your struggles. But most importantly, stay present. And if you can't, accept the fact you're struggling, but the best you can, return back to the present moment. Allow it to be. This is the great teaching of not only the Christ figure, Moses himself, by the way, the Buddha, and many others have taught us to pay attention to this moment, the moment that will release you from the sorrows of your past. Thank you for joining me.